All right, what up? It's the boys. We got the boys today. We got a couple of Whitewater legends.
It's a long pause after White there. I didn't know where you're going with that.
Just a couple Whitewater legends, couple Warhawks. I know Dawson still got his name on the wall down there in Whitewater. BK, is your name on the wall in Whitewater?
Unless they took it down to make room for individual All-Americans.
No, DMR should still be up there.
Yeah, that is the quarter All-American status I will hold near and dear forever.
That's right. As you all have heard at this point, ladies and gentlemen, we got a couple former Warhawks. We got BK, Brecken Crocker, the people's champ, and everybody's favorite Raw Dog. Fresh off of 2 races in 72 hours. Do his legs work? I don't know. That's right. We got Dawson Miller. Dawson, BK, how we doing?
Good. I don't know how many Raw Dogs people know, so I'd assume I'd be their favorite, but it may be like an only child situation where I'm also their least favorite as well.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think people like Raw Debo. I don't know if they like racing against Raw Debo, but outside of racing, they like Raw Debo.
I think people are a lot more comfortable saying Raw Debo than Raw Dog.
Also true.
Is there a day you're going to have to let that go?
I guess it's like any nickname. Like, I didn't choose it. It was given to me. So the day, it's like, when you die twice, when you physically die and when somebody says your name for the last time. It's like when Raw Dog is said for the last time, that is when it will die. And I'm not sure when that'll be.
Well, I will never stop saying Raw Dog, to be honest, even when he has kids. So as long as I'm alive, he's still going to be the Raw Dog to me.
Well, Debo's children refer to me as Raw Dog, so it will live on for at least their lives.
Good.
That's all.
Has your mom had any input on this?
No, she's known it's been my nickname forever, but my friends also gave my dad the nickname Jeff the Killer, so we are just we're a family of nicknames. So
Jeff the Killer and Raw Dog. Speaking of the Warhawks, Jeff was unable to attend this week because did the Warhawks bring home some silverware this week in Raw Dog?
So they got 5th in the regional, which means they qualified for nationals in cross country. My dad's the head coach still after like 43 or 44 years now. Might even be more than that. And this is their 5th year in a row, which is a record for qualifying for nationals, just the men's team.
Jeff still got it. Does he believe in threshold?
So Jeff is kind of like me. He's kind of an interval guy. We do, obviously, as a cross-country runners, do some thresholds, but most of our training was done in the interval style just because it's much easier to do, I feel like, on a large mass basis when you have 50 athletes. The interval setup is much more conducive for 1 or 2 coaches than trying to get everybody treadmill access in the gym or, going out on, you can go on the country roads of Whitewater, but much less monitoring what's going on than finding a quarter mile or half-mile loop somewhere and just crushing some intervals.
Was that the Jeff Miller training program when back in your day, BK?
Back in my day, I don't know how much it's changed, but a lot of 6 by mile, a lot of 10 by 1,000.
6 by mile. That's a tough workout. How much rest we talking?
60 for one, 90 for the other. Reversed though. 90. I believe it was 90 seconds back in the day for the miles. Is that accurate, Dawson?
I think my dad still has I don't know if Microsoft Word was even invented then, but he probably has like some notes apps in like
scribbled.
In command prompt format that have like workouts that he had back in the day. He's not very technologically advanced, but he has a lot of history of all the different workouts he's done over the years. So
Jeff Miller, living legend. Well, we are going to talk about Hyrox Chicago, get some race recaps. BK is going to drop some bombs as he always does. Dawson's going to give us some inside information on what it felt like being there in the races. But before we get to BK, is that a Celsius at 3:07 in the afternoon?
Yeah, it's I thought it said sport vibes. I was like, well, I'm sporty, but it's spritz vibes, and I don't know what that means.
I mean, BK, little afternoon drink. Give me all sleep tonight.
Oh, I've got my last quality session before Hyrox Dallas.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We're gonna be there together this weekend. Can't wait. All right. Let's jump into some results. We're gonna start in Dublin. We had a 4-day race this weekend over in Ireland. We will start with your pro doubles. Men coming in first place, Tom Hogan and his son, Jay Hogan, dropping a ridiculous 53-22. I think Tom is 43 now, BK, 43, 44. And I believe this is his son that is on the younger side. I'm not exactly sure how old Jay is, but I think he might be in his teens still, might be in his early 20s, but he's young. So BK, as a father and an endurance athlete, how cool is this to see a father-son combo dropping a 53-22 and taking first overall?
I think it's unhealthy. It means he probably started him too young. Probably forced him into this. This isn't a loving. No, I'm just kidding. That's awesome. You know how cool that is? I mean, most dads can't keep, like, by the time their kids are crawling on the ground, they're like deciding whether I'm going to get down on the floor and play with them. This guy's still doing burpee broad jumps with his son, and set an example that his kid's fit enough to crank a 53. That's outrageous. This is going to stand for a while.
Yeah, what's crazy about this is their run total was 28:56, and it was so they were long runs. It's a very tight rocks, 2:36. So call it 2.5 minutes. So let's call it 31 and a half. Tom still got wheels.
Yeah.
31 and a half. I mean, Tom's got wheels.
I went on a 4-mile run with Jeff the Killer when I was probably a sophomore in high school. And I don't know who was more tired at the end of that run, running about 7:40 pace. So I can only imagine how fit you need to be. I mean, he did have me when he was 32. So maybe, there's little less of an age gap there, but impressive.
Right. I just found an article on Ireland's fittest family talking about the Hogans. This is in 2019. That was 7 years ago. And Jay was 14. So Jay's 21.
It wasn't 7 years ago, but
6 years
I'm not going to fact check you too much.
20 years
well, ago. Another fact check. The event was 5 days long, not 4 days.
Damn, I'm struggling today. The people are on me. But shout out to the Hogans. That is super cool. And how fun is that to do that as a father-son duo? In second place.
Before we move on, is there an heir to the throne here? Like, do we have even another candidate that could do something like this?
For a father-son duo?
Doesn't he? I won't even reserve it to that. Like, who are there any families out there?
The Amy Bevilacqua, Amy Bev, and one of her daughters. I don't know,
or granddaughter,
or mixed doubles, maybe with a son. Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like who is still competitive that's got a kid old enough. And
a 13-year-old. Maybe I should get him working.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get him off the carts.
Meg Jacoby in like 4 years, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. We're surely missing someone. I'm certain of it. Magida and his dad. They qualified for Worlds. All right. In second place, controversy follows this gentleman around. We had Tony Revel and Jeremy McConnell with the 53-35. They caught a 2-minute penalty for Spitgate. Then in third place, we had Ben Sutherland and Bradley Wilkie, 53-53. Fourth place, John Fitzgerald and Dara O'Keefe, 53-55. And rounding out your top five, Cathal Lacey and Travis Owls with the 53-56. These are very, very solid times on the weekend. None that are going to shake up the Elite 15 rankings. The one that would have been close would have been Tony Revel and Jeremy McConnell. They would have run a 51:35, but Tony caught an unfortunate penalty for seemingly spitting on the course. However, I've seen the video myself. It did not appear to me that he was spitting so much as wiping his nose. Once again, Hyrox is over judging, but that is neither here nor there.
I mean, it is here. We had someone not DQ'd for a real penalty. People snot rocket all the time and spit on course, and nothing happens. And now this one, which is hard to find any view that's is conclusive that even makes you think he definitely did.
And she was behind him. That's the other piece that I've got beef with. She wasn't even in front of him.
It's just like Chalkgate was real and everyone knew it and they just wouldn't do anything about it. This seems very, very made up and they did something about it. It just sucks. It wasn't even Jeremy this time.
Yeah, it was not Jeremy. I really don't know what to say, to be honest. It's one of those, it's a weird thing because it's unfortunate. I don't know that it actually affected them. They still got first place in their age group, which means that they qualified for age group worlds if they wanted to race together there. I know that wasn't their goal. 51:35 wasn't going to be good enough to get into the Elite 15 anyway. So it's like, does it? I mean, unless there was some type of award for first place overall, which we're now seeing. By the way, I heard, did you all know that in Mexico City, Ford was handing out money to the winners of the pro field?
No, I did not hear that.
Ford Motor Company handed out thousands of dollars to the winners of the men's and women's pro division.
Fun.
We've got all these title sponsors now. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know who was the sponsor of Dublin, but yeah, it doesn't affect the rankings. But I think it's just a bad look. It's once again, people spending too much time talking about over judging or the lack thereof with some of the bigger names.
Yeah.
Well, Bracken, to your point, people are spitting and snot rocking on the course all the time, but if you do it on the fancy new Hyrox turf, that's a no-no. You can do it on the cement anywhere you want, just not on the turf.
Don't let him see
Extra
it.
protective of that turf.
Not in the face.
Don't let him see you do it. Don't let him see you do it. All right, on to the ladies. We did have some notable performances over here. Zara Piergiana and Gabriella Marotti with a impressive 56:01, cementing themselves into the Elite 15. Women's, then in second place, Kat Parnell, Jade Skillen, 56:29. Viola Oberlander and Jana Liebenstedt, 57:02. Samantha Perry and Aoife Faye, 59:29. And Elide Boyd and Grace Doyle with a 59:52. That should put, if we look at the Elite 15 doubles for Melbourne, yeah, they're already on there. That puts Zara and Gabriella in 11th, although Linda's on there a couple times, and so is Lauren Griffith and Joanna. So they're really in that top 10. And then Kat Parnell and Jade Skillen are firmly in there as well. Dawson, the doubles specialist. Any thoughts on these doubles races this weekend?
No, I mean, I was kind of locked in on my own races. I didn't see much of the doubles results, so I don't have much to add here. That would be genuine. Selfish.
All right, on to the solos. We'll reverse. We'll start with the women's. Melanie Marr dropping a 60:38. We kind of wondered if she was due for a breakout. She's obviously got a high level endurance background. That 60:38 is definitely going to improve her standing. Actually, they've already, shout out to Hyrox, they've already updated it. That moves her into 8th for Melbourne now with an average of 60:50. So good for her. Kat Parnell, second place at the 60:54. Manuela Garcia Caparros, 61:10. Tanya Strosch Schneider, the female Charlie Bottrell, 61:51. And then Rosen Egin in 5th place with a 62:13. Let me see if that changed it for anybody. Yes, it did. So for Manuela, that improved her time as well. She is now in for Melbourne if she chooses to go with a 61:11. Kat Parnell also improved her time and is in the Elite 15 now with an average time of 61:13. Zara did not improve her standing. She is the first out at 16th to 61:40. And then Tanya, that did improve her time, though. She's now 17th to the 61:59. Thoughts on the female races?
Well, My thoughts are probably going to be the same takeaway for every single pro race across the board this weekend. But the main thought is that people are getting so good at Hyrox. We just had people qualify for Elite 15 doubles less than 4 minutes faster than these times. Running 56 mid and high, and that's getting you in to the next Elite 15 race. It's just these women and the men across the board are running so fast in their singles race that the doubles teams can only squeak out 15 seconds or less per segment of the race. That's outrageous that they're just performing at such a high capacity in the singles that the doubles aren't actually all that much faster in the grand scheme of things. Crazy. Even if they took it on all the stations, only 30 seconds faster per station than someone doing all the work. So to see 2-3 women go 60 flat in a race, that is a time which was reserved for 3 people just like a year and a half ago.
Yeah. Do you think it's because, actually, this would be interesting because I'd be curious to hear from Dawson as to how much faster him and Marcus ran on Friday night versus what he ran in his solo. But it's got to be because like they're not actually running that much faster in a doubles race than what they're actually capable of running in a solos race, right? Like they're like people are kind of at the top end of their running on both sides, and then the extra output that they're doing on the stations limits their top end ability in that doubles race. Is that the right way to think about it?
Yeah, I mean, just like from this weekend, Marcus and I were running about 10 to 12 seconds faster per run in doubles versus singles. So
that's not that much faster.
Yeah, it's like a minute and a half total time. So really, you're making up all your time on the stations is where you'll see the huge benefit. So yes, to your point, on a crowded course and you can't run that much faster, you're not going to squeak out that much more time in a doubles race versus a singles. It's really just all.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Save it for the pod.
Just crazy good. 60 flat. That's how many people used to do that? Like 24 months ago, we had, I think, 3 women ever.
Yeah, I don't even know that it has me. Did Michaela do it? Did she got close, or maybe she got like a 60-53. But yeah, that year where it was Lauren and Meg. Yeah. Okay. So Michaela threw down a 60-45 in her debut race in Hamburg, but then never, no. And then Dubai, she did it too. That one that her and Lauren went out to and raced. So 60-35, but yeah. And they were the only ones. And now it's like, it's becoming, we've got multiple people under 60, people getting under 61. It is crazy. All right. On to the dudes. Your winner, Martin Enthoven, 54-58. Second place, Alan Plow, 55-19. Sean Noble, 55-57 in third. Graham Holiday, 56-06. And Ronan Lindsay rounding out your top 5 with a 56-39. That does not improve Sean's standing, but he is still 7th for Melbourne. It did improve Alan, who is now first out, 16 with a 55-30. And then Martin moves up to 18th with a 55-46. Any thoughts on these men's races?
I mean, even though Alan is first out, he's pretty much guaranteed in because we know there's people who aren't traveling.
Yeah, Rich isn't going. Yeah, Rich is not going.
So
I don't think Dylan's going either, but I'm not 100% positive on that.
And that's huge. So he gets a finish like that, guarantees that he'll be there now, assuming he chooses to go, and comes in hot, freshly fit, beating really solid Elite 15 athletes. He's coming in with momentum.
For sure. Yeah, and it's crazy. Graham Holiday improved his standing. He's now 56-07 is his time, but that's only good enough for, this is what's wild. 56-07 is only good enough for 21st right now on the men's leaderboard.
I had a conversation maybe 10 months ago, 11 months ago, with someone who's an OCR athlete who hasn't really taken this sport seriously. And he said, you know what? From time to time, I think maybe I should just try to, like, for the tail end of my career, just make an Elite 15 race and just cement myself as like better all time than I would be if I never like went in on Hyrox. And already that notion's out the window. Just like a year ago, people were still thinking, I think there's room if I just dedicate 6 months to a year to this, I could probably just snag an Elite 15 and then just like, that'd be cool. That's not an option anymore.
What's crazy is there was a point in time last season where both members of Raw Debo were in the top 40 with, I think, a 58 high, 59 low average. Marcus might have been in the 58 lows because I know he had that 57. And I'm looking right now, and neither one of them. I mean, Dawson just dropped. What was it? What was the final time, Dawson? 57:08?
07.
57:07. Yeah, that's not even the cut line right now for the top 40 is 57:09. Dawson's average is probably in the 58 mids or 58 lows, if I had to guess. It's like that's I mean, that's someone who literally a year ago was in roll down spot, and now there's no shot that it's getting down there, which is crazy.
We said this last time we were on here together, Matt, but we always, or I and Jack and I would compare this to OCR, the growth of it, how they mirrored each other a little. There was never this. We never saw this explosion in the sport that is just changed practically overnight. It feels like last season to this season is just the numbers are different, and there's no room anymore for people to be like, maybe I'll just jump in.
Yeah. So I'm going to read out all of the Chicago. So here's what we're going to do from here. I'm going to read out all the Chicago rankings. I have a question on that, BK, and then we will get into some race recap and reaction from Dawson. So we'll start with the pro doubles women from Chicago. Elise McClintock and Imogen Cross with a 61-34. Christina Matthews, Charlotte O'Neill, 63-24. Cassandra Cristiano and Michaela Colonna, 64-42. Lexi Johnson and Bailey Rail, 64-51. Monique Duder and Geraldine Antiveros, 66-02. That is your top 5 women. That does not impact the Elite 15 rankings, but great racing all around. Then on the pro doubles men's side, taking first place, Stephen Pelkoffer and Dylan Scott, the Charlotte boys, 60-51. Second place, Raw Debo with the 61-04, only 8 seconds off their PR. Third place, Ryan Douglas and Jack Driscoll, 51-09. Fourth place, Colin Stefer, Ryan Kent, 51-35. And rounding out your top 5, Jarrett Newby and Dr. Hayden Warner with the 51-47. On the pro women's side, the GOAT, Lauren Weeks, back in action, her first age group pro race in over a year with a blazing 58-12. Gabrielle Nakora Baker flew all the way over to take second place, 60-54. Brooklyn Nichols, breakout race, 61-05. Morgan Scholes, another breakout race, 61-23. Rounding out your top 5, Audrey Skiver with a 63-27. And on the dude's side, your top 5, Cole Learn with a blazing 54-36. Grayson Kilgore with a monstrous 55-33. Jack Driscoll with the 56-23. Colin Stefer, 56-50. And the Raw Dog rounding out your top 5 with the 57-07. We are going to get into these races and get some live feedback from Dawson. But before we do, I have to ask the question. Before this weekend of racing started, I can't remember who posted it. It might have been Hitty, but he posted the Spider-Man meme, and basically it was like all the men that were under 55, and it was like 10 dudes. And I guess what's crazy to me is not that people are getting faster, but if we go back to last year, getting under 57 was hard. And by last year, I don't even mean last year. I mean like in the spring, like 5-6 months ago. Like there wasn't that many people going sub 57, and we've just skipped 56 and have gone straight to 55s and 54s. I mean, we're seeing 54s every single week now. Martin is a great athlete. I'm not taking anything away from him, but I think we were all kind of surprised to see his name pop up this weekend with a 54. Why do we think that all of a sudden the times are exploding on a downward trend?
I think Hyrox is charging higher prices for entry fees so they can pay for air conditioning.
Wow.
And cooler temps are faster times.
It is actually that is an interesting thing to note. I don't know how much of a joke that is or how facetious you're being, but I did have multiple people last night say that the Chicago course, it was perfect because by the time the men's pro got out there for once in their lives, it was relatively empty. And apparently, BK, it was freezing in the venue, which sucked for spectators, but did not suck for
Mhm.
everybody racing.
I mean, we know what it does in running events. You get past, 5K is kind of the dividing line. You get 5K or beyond, and you might as well kiss your PR goodbye. Every 10 degrees it goes up, you're going to drop seconds per mile. In an event where you are riding a line the entire time for an hour, 10 degrees is going to make a big difference. I just didn't expect to hear that.
I wasn't expecting that either. He really zigged and we thought he was going to zag. I didn't know what was going to, I actually don't know what he was going to say, BK, but I did not think he was going to say air conditioning. BK, what do you attribute it to? You've obviously been watching these sports a long time. It's like, and I don't want to call anybody an also run because that's disrespectful to the athletes, but it used to be that it was like, okay, there were a couple guys that you could even think that would get into that stratosphere of being able to drop that time. And now we're seeing, let's just, guys,
I got a little stat for you then, Matt.
Yeah, you start hypothesizing.
We don't have to talk about also rans. Let's use the GOATs. All right. Two of the four arguable GOATs in here. In 2022 in Chicago in fall, the first pro non-25 meter sled post-COVID at this venue, Meg Jacoby won it in 101.56. All right. She is a co-GOAT in this sport, and she would have taken what? 5th place with that time this year? Is that right? 5th or 6th?
Yeah.
That's outrageous. You look at the men's side. Do you know who won it that year? It's actually the year prior. Hunter McIntyre won it in 57 something. Dylan Scott won it in 58.38. Second place was 101.47. Colin Stefer. Marcus Wallace third, 103.32. These are times. 58.38 would have been outside the top 10 this year. And this is by Dylan, who in modern time right now is as big of a favorite as anyone to win the next world championship. Meg, who is arguably the GOAT. It's her, Lauren. There's no other opportunity for someone to become GOAT right now other than those two. And she went 101.53. Both of them would have been outside the top 5. One would have been outside the top 10. It's crazy.
There are these. This is not elite because I'm looking at high result. This is non-elite. This is just Hyrox Pro men, and Cole Learn is not on here yet. There are 12 men that have dropped a sub 55 in Hyrox history. 12 men. 11 of them have occurred in the last 12 calendar months. That actually makes Hunter's Barcelona 5407 back in 2023 that much more ridiculous. But 11 different men have dropped a sub 55 in the last 12 calendar months. That's insane.
You asked why, and here's my take. Now, we're going to put aside courses. We're going to put aside equipment, anything like that. I have never been a part of a sport that the participants listened and learned better than Hyrox. This did not happen in OCR. There were plenty of us flapping our gums, telling everyone in the world how you should probably train for this sport. People are like, I'd rather bro lift. I'd rather just run. All I have to do is rock climb and I'm set. They did the things they wanted to do. In this sport, you have a lot of high-end people telling everyone everything you could ever need to know on their podcasts or on their YouTube channels and putting out their shorts on YouTube. And people do it. They dedicate themselves to becoming a student of the game, and it's showing. And I think that maybe more than anything else, we're drawing great athletes and courses are changing and all that, but people are just doing a good job learning and executing.
Yeah, I think a big factor is that the further we go in time is the more time it gives people to build up a base over years and years of training Hyrox specific. So the longer somebody has to build a base up, the faster they will be eventually. And we're getting to that tipping point where we're kind of at like a lot of these people that are finishing in these awesome times have been around for 2-ish years. There's still people popping up every now and again, but not only are you seeing the people who are already in the sport improve, but the people who started a year and a half, 2 years ago are now seeing the benefit of all the base training that they're doing on top of, yes, all the intelligence they're getting from coaches or social media, the positive side of social media, and good training tactics.
Yeah. And they're not waiting until after they blow up anymore. Some of them are, but they look at what you need to do and they're doing it. They're seeing the examples of CrossFitters who come over and get spanked. And then they're seeing the examples of newcomers that do really well and the pros who've improved over time, and they're just doing it. Never seen a sport that executed their training this well across the board. Now, some are missing, some are burning out. We're waiting on a few people to just for the chickens to come home to roost, or whatever that phrase is that we want to use in this one. But it's coming for some of them. But
is it?
They're not underworking. That's the key in this sport. People at the top. It used to be if you're willing to work a lot, you're going to get to the top of most fringe endurance sports. This sport works. People are putting in massive volume.
I guess I'm beginning to wonder if the chicken's going to come home to roost, because this sport does seem to defy logic. We've got people in North America and in Europe that are racing every single weekend, and they're getting faster. And sure, it doesn't always. Okay, but
who was it? Who was it? Who was the originator of that?
Of racing every single weekend and getting faster?
Yeah.
The only person I can think of is Dylan, but he would have
JK first.
Kind of. Yeah, they both had
conversation around him as well. He's stopped improving for a little bit here, and now he's backing off and he's rejigging what he's going to do. And it's going to happen with everyone. There's no sport on earth you can do it this frequently, this intensely. Our sample size is just too short on some of these people.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. We need to take a 30,000-foot view to the long term.
But to your point, they're training so much that they can get away with it for half a year right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we will see. Whenever we get into the spring, if the chickens come home to roost. Well, let's go ahead and start with the men's doubles race. Just a quick reminder, your top 5, I'm not going to name the times, but it was Dylan Scott, Stephen Pelkoffer, Marcus Wallace, Dawson Miller, Ryan Douglas, Jack Driscoll, Colin Stefer, Ryan Kent, and Dr. Hayden Warner with Jared Newby. Honorable mention to David Megida and Mark Gaudette. This was a very exciting race from start to finish. BK, we talked about this the last time you and I were on the pod together. The nice thing about having all these Elite 15 hopefuls in North America is that the North American pro races are getting exciting again.
Yeah.
I don't know. The last race that we had that was this stacked in North America for a pro doubles race would have been the race probably in Houston, the last time that Raw Dog raced, not in World Championships in the US. And that's because the top 3 spots got into World Championships for the Elite 15 doubles. So this is a non-major. This is just a regular weekend race for us here in North America. And we saw some of Dylan Scott, Ryan Kent, staples in the Elite 15. Jarrett Newby and Hayden Warner have raced in an Elite 15 doubles this year. Marcus Wallace and Dawson Miller are returning Elite 15 doubles teams. Jack Driscoll's an Elite 15 hopeful. I had never heard of Ryan Douglas, but I watched him, and that guy is a freak. So these were good. These were good teams. So first observation that I have to ask, Dawson is very objective and will never make excuses, which I appreciate about him. But I do have to say, for people wondering why these times weren't as fast given the names, I'm just going to ask the question, Dawson. It had to be because of course crowding, correct? There were 800. They had the women's doubles go right before, and they didn't do any break in between, and it was
there was a 20-minute break. All right.
Okay, not enough to clear the course.
Can the women finish in that 20-minute break's time? No, but there was a break.
When they let them go, process. BK, when they let them go, I got to tell you this because this was insane. When they let them go, there was Hyrox this weekend implemented a couple things on the track that we had not seen in North America yet. They had the bridge, which was nice, and then they had people on the course getting people inside the fast lane or out of the fast lane. They did not do that. And there was all these women slow jogging in the fast lane around that first turn. And I started yelling. I was like, you guys need to move. You need to move. And then that first run,
I saw the video. That was a wave.
Yeah, those men were flying. Dylan went way out wide. Dawson came inside, and then teams, it became chaos because all the teams got separated because they were just trying to trickle through this like horde of women. And it was like that the entire, I mean, there had to be still over 100, if not several hundred women's teams still on the course. And there was no clear running lane from what I could tell almost at any point for the dudes.
Yeah. Yeah, it was almost scary knowing what was coming as you're watching that video. It's like, oh, this is like that scene on the beach before the tsunami comes and you know what's happening and everyone's like, hey, the water's moving backwards. That's what this felt like. And suddenly the herd was there. I can't believe no one got trampled. But I get their thought process. 20 minutes, that's enough to get through 2.5 stations minimum. Like, it'll be fine. There's clearance. And they forget the fact that you still run the same course every round. It's not just, are the sleds open? It's, what do you do with the running? And the disparity in pace is so big, and running too wide a lot of the time. It's just bad. It's really, really bad and unfortunate.
Dawson, do you think that that's the biggest thing that impacted the times for the dudes?
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it afterwards as we were trapped in a room for an hour and a half trying to pee. But Dylan made the point of just like, when you look at just our station times, like he's like, it's comparable to what he's run faster times like in the 49. So he's like, these are all very comparable to say like a 49 high 50 flat, just based on these station times. That's not the entire race, but and just that for that everybody thought they were experiencing during the race is just like, we thought the times were going to be maybe 30 to 45 seconds faster in total time, was kind of everybody's feeling, and kind of the consensus is that it just felt like that. Like, anybody can say that, but yeah, that was just kind of the consensus overall from all the top teams, is that it just felt a little faster than it ended up being.
Well, you had too many good teams not get dropped. Like, if one team was good and everyone else got dropped, you'd be like, well, you ran well, but your time would have been better with people. Everyone had people to go with. People were in range. That was a fight. People were doing well, and the times didn't. I mean, the times weren't bad. There were 4 people ahead of the North American Championship time that won North American Championship 2 years ago, 3 years ago here on open weights. Like, it was fast. It just wasn't world class.
I think Marcus and I were the only team that didn't run their fastest time ever. But I know, well, that team, Dylan has obviously run faster with another partner, but Dylan will even tell you that Steven was even kind of carrying some of the load on some of the events just from the amount of effort that was going into that race. So
Pro move by Dylan to tell Steven to keep going on the wall balls, because Raw Debo was coming, and Dylan knew that his cadence was slowing down. And if they would have switched one more time, I think you guys would have sniped him. But shout out them. They knew what they were doing. It was fast from the jump, though. We had 7 teams within 6 seconds of each other going into the ski. At tightened up, we had 5 teams within 5 seconds of each other coming out. Then into the sled push, still those 5 seconds. There's a little bit of separation there. Marcus and Dawson made a move, not by much, but definitely got out. They came into second place there. Steven and Dylan, notably Dylan, mentioned that he felt like he got buried by the push. They fell back to 13 seconds. And then it kind of stayed within that 10-second range into the pole. Dawson and Marcus made another move there on the pole, coming out in first. And then into the burpees, they maintained that. At that point, Steven and Dylan were 11 seconds back. However, that's where they gained a lot of ground. Talk us through what the strategy was there, Dawson. Did you all know? I mean, you had to have known that they were going to come. Dylan's a burpee machine.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to clarify, it's not making a move when Marcus just moves the sled faster than everybody. So it's just a fact. It's not like a strategy or anything.
Yeah, it must be nice to be 6'3" and limbs like that and strong.
Yeah, but that's just, each team has different strengths and different stations, and that's just early enough in the race that you're not. I don't think strategy has really come into effect there. But Marcus and I are not the fastest burpeers, just based on our size, just like we're good at the sleds based on our size. So it's just kind of a natural moving back and forth within the race at that point. But yeah, I mean, basically, Marcus and I know that out of sled pull, we should probably be in first place. And coming out of burpees, we might not be in first place anymore. It's just kind of how our race works, just based on our strengths. And so it was basically kind of what we expected. Now, another team being, I think, in a dead heat with us coming out of burpees was, I guess, less expected. But at that point, I think Marcus and I just stayed in second place for the rest of the race. So even though it was a very close race,
you actually came out of row first, and then you came into Farmers Carry, and there was a little bit of that you guys probably wouldn't call it controversy, but I saw it. They were coming through on the
it's racing, Matt.
Rubbin's racing on the Farmers Carry. They came in with about a 5-second lead. Dylan kept trying to pass Dawson. Dawson felt him, and Dawson just kind of kept moving BK to get in front of him. He just kind of kept like boxing him out because, you know, those are big boys.
When there's 4 turns on a Farmer's Carry, you know, it's kind of just momentum at that point, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of those KGs are swinging out to the side, centrifugal force and whatnot.
But Dylan got you back because you guys dropped, and then they made the smart decision.
He dropped after us, and then
they got in front of you, and then Dylan started boxing you out back. That was fun to watch. And then coming into the lunges, you all were 6 seconds back. You came out 10 seconds out and basically kept it there. They did put a little bit of time into you on the run. You all wound up finishing 13 seconds back. But like I said, your all's cadence was way faster. If they would have broke one more time, it would have probably wound up being a photo finish. The surprising one, or really not so surprising, but Ryan Douglas and Jack Driscoll took third. They ran a really, really strong race. They were in a battle with Kent and Stefer. They actually came out of the lunges tied. But what wound up happening was Kent went to drop his sandbag. And when he did, it landed on the top of the pile and rolled down. Colin had taken off and was out on the run course because he didn't know what was going on behind him. Kent had started to take off for the run course, and they called him back and made him pick up his sandbag and put it back on the pile. Colin was just heads down running.
Good,
and then
that's what matters.
Right. Yeah, because that's it's so dangerous with all those volunteers sitting there. They can't just put it back up. I mean, I guess I get it, but yeah, I agree. It was kind of silly. And it was kind of weird because everyone kind of wondered if Kent was hurt or if something had happened because Colin came in and had to wait for a very long time. It was probably 15 or 20 seconds for Kent to come in. And at that point, they were basically going to be a non-factor just because of how long they had waited. I think Ryan Douglas and Jack Driscoll have one of the fastest cadences that I've ever seen. They were flying and had already put up about 25, 30 wall balls before Stefer could even start. So, Dawson, any other thoughts on that doubles race?
No, I mean, just overall, it was great to just be in another race that's competitive. I mean, that's the fun of racing. You never want to be, yo-yoing back and forth with teams. And like I said before, just Marcus and my strengths, that happens a lot with us where there's all these gaps forming and then being filled as the race is going on. And then Marcus and I have a few things that we need to iron out and improve on, but that's doubles. It's just, there's always something in the next race that it's so unexpected what happens during the race. So it's just, that's the fun of it too. There's drama that happens in the race more than like a singles race.
How did you two align on that day? Obviously, Worlds, you didn't align with how you felt and how your efforts aligned that day. How was this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, in all of our races, there's been somebody who's performed better every single time. Neither of us have clicked on the same day at the same time. Marcus was struggling a little on the second half on the runs, but other than that, our stations were fine. We did everything essentially to plan, besides we always go Marcus starts, I end stations, and there was a few based on the situation where I just should have started, and we lost probably around 8 to 12 seconds just based off of that. and that's basically what we lost by. So it's just like those in-game decisions that you need to make that you can't plan for. We just need to be a little more versatile in race than kind of like sticking to our hard, fast like plan.
It's so cool that doubles is to the point where it matters, where little things are the margin of victory. And also it's difficult because there's a ripple effect to every one of those judgment calls. Suddenly you start one and now everything changes. And you're right. The versatility of how it works out is kind of hard to get right.
And just the intensity that everything's at. It's also hard to just, it's race brain. You have to think strategically while at a super high output. And if you're not at a super high output, your partner's at a super high output. So how do you converse and strategize when one of you is going all out, essentially? It's just kind of like a difficult puzzle, I guess.
Yeah. Great race. It was awesome to watch. Wins the raw dog, the raw Debo, going to pair up again.
Not really sure, because we wanted to improve our time to qualify for Phoenix. So since we didn't improve our time, I don't even know if there's really an opportunity for us to run again before Phoenix, unless we went out of our way to go to Anaheim or Vancouver. But yeah, there's really not an option. So I think we just sit and hope we get a roll down at this point.
Come out to Dallas.
Yeah, maybe back to back.
Join the boys.
Well,
all the Europeans are doing it.
The thing is, Marcus has a family and all that. So, and I'm not, I race the least out of probably anybody. So I'm not pressing to throw any more on the schedule.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. Let's talk about the women solos real quick. We only got 11 more minutes of the raw dog. Hate when a real job gets in the way of our fun job. Your top 5 women, just as a reminder: Lauren Weeks with a 58.12, Gabrielle Nakora Baker 60.54, Brooklyn Nichols 61.05, Morgan Schultz 61.23, and Audrey Skiver with a 63.27. I would say the story is Lauren Weeks with a 58.12, but BK, is this ho-hum at this point? Just Lauren doing what Lauren does?
It would have been if not for some recent races. If she had come out and wiped the floor with everyone recently, yeah, this would be ho-hum. But just as people start wondering, is there a change in the guard this year? Is this going to be a bigger field? Is Lauren maybe not 58 low? It's the perfect response to how the season started.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't argue. You can't argue that. It is a very impressive performance. I'm pulling up her average splits to see what we did here. So her average sled push in elite races is 247. Her sled pull kind of been a little bit of sometimes can be a bugaboo. Her average is 410. That is pulled down by a 657. But this weekend, she was clean. 221 push, 335 pull. Absolutely.
That's all she needs.
Yeah. 315 lunge, 330 wall balls. I don't know if she broke or not on the wall balls, but that feels slow for her. Yeah, her average elite time is 322. Her fastest is 305. So maybe
305 has to be a glitch. That's stupid.
You would think. But this actually is her fastest race since Amsterdam. And almost as fast. And this is her 3rd fastest race of all time.
Dawson, what could you do for 100 air wall balls? No ball in your hand. How fast could you go? Just cranking out reps.
Long femurs. It's going to take a while.
Yeah.
Could you go under 310?
Couldn't even imagine. I would hope I could, but at that point you'd probably, with anything, go out too hard and then start to die at the end. But yeah, I'd say probably around, the ball,
it'd be like 245.
The ball, yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. Now that I'm actually thinking of it, but yeah,
her cycle rate is so good. Anyway,
it's crazy.
Perfect response. That's exactly what a champion does. You just remind everyone don't get too far ahead of your skis here.
Excited to see what she does down under in Melbourne. Almost as impressive, Gabrielle Nakora Baker coming over and running a 60:54, which is the exact same time that she ran in Boston. So that's wild. I don't know what the chances of that happening are, but to be absolutely dialed and get the same exact time, good on her. Yeah, and the travel. I mean, well, yeah, we talked about this stuff, BK. That's just what they do down under.
It just negates our excuse every time. Oh, we had to travel across an ocean.
You can't say anything on that. And she is going to get to race in Melbourne because she improved her standing to 9th. Shout out to her. Very impressive race. And then Brooklyn Nichols and Morgan Scholes. I think I'm gonna double check this. Yeah, these are monster PRs. Brooklyn had run her fastest time prior to this was in Boston, 65:15. She's now down to a 61:05. And then Morgan ran a 61:23, which I believe is also a pretty, it's a monster PR as well. Almost 2 minutes. And she's a minute and a half faster than she was in Chicago in June. I mean, this is going to put both of them. I mean, it's got to give them confidence. I think these are people that we kept talking about. Like, are they going to make it in eventually from the U.S. side? Brooklyn is now in 36th. Morgan is going to need another time, but there's no reason to think that. Oh, never mind. Sorry. Never mind. I take that back. Morgan is actually all the way up to 19th now with her. She's at a 62:06. So Morgan is now in roll down territory. Yeah. Got to think she's going to have a good shot to get in at some point this year.
I mean, I'm so excited for Morgan because we knew this was waiting. She's shown the flashes. She has all the tangible and intangibles. She just hadn't had her. I mean, she had a breakout race, but this was the breakout race. And to not even make the podium in that is kind of bittersweet. But Brooklyn as well. I don't know that a lot of people outside of her camp saw 61 here. That is such a huge performance.
Are you in her camp, BK?
I'm not. So I didn't see this coming.
Yeah. It's a great race. So shout out to both of them. Definitely going to be people to contend with. And a very special shout out to Race Brain's own Michelle Navarro with a 90-second PR, getting under that, get firmly under that sub 70 with a 67:48. Michelle, we appreciate you, proud of you, and hope that you're proud of yourself. An awesome race.
She bailed on us though, Matt.
She did.
Team 70. She just left the squad.
She left the squad. All right. We only got a few more minutes of Dawson, so BK and I will wrap this up. But I do just want to give Dawson his flowers. He did finish 5th in a pro race with also a very large PR, 57:07. Prior to this, would be 57 seconds. Your best race was Toronto, right? 58:04.
Yeah. Yep. And I have the fun fact with my race times. I've never ran in the same minute of any of my finish times. I have a 101, I have a 1 flat, a 59, a 58, a 57, and a 66. So I've never finished in the same minute. So
you just went 66 to 57 back-to-back races.
You know what though? Yeah. Dylan said this, and I appreciate it. There are a lot of other people that if it wasn't their day, they just would have bailed. And Dawson said, you know what? I came up here. I'm going to finish this race. It's not going to be a good time, and that's okay. I would kill for a 66, though, personally. But forget that. Let's talk about the 57:07. I know you only got 4 minutes, Dawson. You got to go to a real-life work call. But talk to us about it. How are you feeling going into the race? This is your first time racing twice in a weekend, right?
Yep. Yeah, first time racing twice. Didn't really know what to expect on the second race. After the drug test of, staying an hour and a half late on Friday, not getting home super late.
I was trying to get a hold of Dawson all Friday night. Couldn't. Dude was pissing.
Well, trying
not.
Also, it's a very odd feeling standing in a room just trying to pee your own pants for half an hour straight. Just don't recommend it.
How many times you get tested in college?
In college, actually, I never did.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got tested twice in 48 hours this weekend.
Yes. Yeah. also ridiculous, but I paid for it, so that's what I get. Didn't know what the recovery was going to be like. Don't do a lot of volume in general, so didn't know how I'd come back 2 days after. Been trying to get my workouts kind of in like 2-day increments to see how it would work, and just a lot of benefits on the second day, like we talked about, kind of more open course, cooler temperatures. I feel like everybody who was doubling back besides Colin went out pretty conservatively. It was just, again, back and forth the entire race, which kind of like takes your mind off things. And everybody was really close the whole time. So it was just a nice environment. And that just, I think, breeds good racing and faster times. So it was kind of like the perfect scenario for like, yeah. I mean, I was in third coming into lunges and then dropped a few spots. Well, yeah, you only dropped a few spots, gained spots, whatever. But yeah, a lot of change. You actually came into wall balls with Jack and Kent, and you were only 10 seconds behind Stefer. So you had a shot for third. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, all the guys who were doubling back, just kind of, nice atmosphere. Nobody's, no like huge rivalries or anything in North America, because we're all just trying to run fast times. We don't really care about each other. But yeah, it was just like I said, just a good opportunity to double back in that kind of atmosphere. And it led to good results. So there's a lot of joking after that. People are just going to do double sims 2 days before their races now to get the stimulus up to get some good PR. So
little pre-fatigue.
Yeah. That was the joke on the second day of the P tests.
Was there any amount of it sounds dumb to say course knowledge, but just course knowledge, so that when you had race brain, you were a little bit more on autopilot, just navigating rock zone?
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely, I feel like when the course was so crowded on Friday, you were just trying to get where you could get with the least amount of running into people as possible. Whereas Sunday, there was much more strategy of like going into a corner and you had the opportunity to actually maintain speed through the events and around corners. So that definitely helped a lot too. Just overall fatigue and not getting kind of too hyped up.
Yeah. Do you think you had sub 57 in you fresh?
So in Toronto, that was my goal. My goal was to run around 57 flat. So I knew just kind of that was what I thought I was capable of. And so when that didn't happen coming into this race, my goal was just like, let me just get a time out there because I need 2 times. Let me just get something in like the 58 high, 59 low, not try to press anything. And I think that mentality just led to racing more evenly overall. So yes, I knew I could do it, but I didn't think I'd do it in this race, if that makes sense.
Yep, it does.
Yeah. All right, man. I know you got to hop. We appreciate you.
All right. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks for having me on. I'll let you guys keep rolling.
We appreciate you, Raw Dog.
See ya.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at, I watched obviously both races, and I think that is one of the biggest factors in why we saw such disparity from Friday night not being maybe as fast as we expected, is they had a very clean course last night. There was a 30-minute break, I believe, between the last heats and of men's doubles, and then when they started. And so the course was just, is a little bit emptier overall. Probably because not as many people are signing up to race Sunday nights. And it was very cool in there, which definitely helped. But the story of the night is there's really 2 stories of the night. One, Cole Learn, the Canadian, dropping another 54.30, or say another, but dropping a 54.36 coming off of the Boston 55.30. So now he is firmly in the low 55s, and he told everybody he's going to Melbourne if he got in. And BK, men built like that shouldn't be able to run like that.
Do we know why he can?
I don't know.
I haven't listened to any interviews with him. Do we know why he runs like that already? Because he's supposed to come in strong and struggling on the run, and then over the course of a couple of years, like pick it up. Why is he doing this already?
I don't know. Sandy is his coach. And I know he does a lot of threshold work. I follow him on Instagram. He does a lot of 1K mile repeats, a lot of intervals, a lot of 5x5 minutes, 6x5 minutes, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, you look at his, he's still got in this 54:36, kind of crazy to say, but there's still some meat on the bone there. He's 28:53 run time and then 3 minutes, 14 seconds on the rock zone. So that takes into 32 minutes, 7 seconds. And, the elites are running, when Rich ran his 54:30, I think he was low 31s.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, this guy is an animal on the stations. 344 ski, 210 push, 243 pull, 218 burpee broad jump. That's not supposed to be a thing. You are not supposed to go. You are not supposed to go almost 2 minutes on the push, sub 3 on the pull, and then be able to put out a 218. 350 row, 134 farmers, 228 lunges, and then 342 wall balls. I mean, that's just crazy. It's craziness.
Well, it is. And if you look at a few of these things, like you said, if you go 243 on the pull, you should give a little something back on burpee broad jumps. That's where we see it come due. But instead he goes maybe the fastest burpee broad jump we've seen this year. Is that accurate?
It's close. Kent did a 206 in Boston.
206. And he comes back with 350 row with transition in there. That's fast.
But I do want to throw out there a 218 burpee would be flying on this course because it was not a straightaway. It was down, back, down, back.
The first time ever in Chicago, it wasn't the straightaway, I believe. Which
is dumb. I don't know why they changed the Chicago course every single time we do it.
But then he comes out and goes 134 for the farmer's carry, which might be the sign that it's starting to fall off.
Yeah.
134. If you struggle on burpee broad jump or farmer's carry, it's really hard to come back.
Yeah, that was 23rd. That was good enough for 23rd on the night. So, I mean, it was not slow, but to your point, he's not moving at that point.
Well, and his previous stations were 18. You don't count the skier because some open or some pro people in the middle of the field ski way too hard. But sled push 9, sled pull 3, burpee broad jump 1, row 3, and then farmer's carry 23rd. Like that's what happens when you do that. You start to fall off. And then he comes back with the number 1 sandbag lunge, 228, number 3 wall balls. So right where we thought, okay, this is what is supposed to happen, he turns around and does an otherworldly lunge.
He also doesn't use his hands, which is insane to watch. I've never seen anyone do that. He throws the sandbag up onto his shoulders, and I guess he kind of does a little bit of a lean forward, and then he keeps his hands down at his side, presumably to save his shoulders.
For sure.
And he lunges the entire way without ever touching the bag, which is super risky because you get DQ'd if it drops, but he doesn't drop it.
No, and I've seen people do it, and I do it where I'll have one on and the other one down and then pushing off my other leg and then switch just to keep one arm from pulling and then to give a little bit into the lunge, just take some off your legs. He just keeps both down. I've never seen anyone do that. And some people have asked about the rules. I had it on one shoulder when Rich and I did doubles and got called out. So I looked at the rule book and it turned out it has to be across your shoulders. And there it's plural, across shoulders, but it says nothing about hand grips. So what he's doing is fine. It just, again, like several things about his racing doesn't really make sense, but it's incredible.
Yeah, it's impressive. So
if you can come out of that without having your arms up and pinched for 2 to 3 minutes, that is a decided advantage heading into wall balls.
No doubt. And then it was a tight race early. Let me pull this up real quick just to refresh. I can't remember where. I think he made his move on that pull. It kind of had like Hunter vibes to it. Yeah. So coming into the pull, Stefer was in first. Grayson came in on his hip. They were together. Cole was 18 seconds back, followed by Jack and Dawson. And then pull out, Cole erased the gap. Came out with Grayson, was now 20 seconds ahead of Colin, 40 seconds ahead of Dawson and almost a minute ahead of Jack and Kent. Kent made a big move there too. And then they came into burpees together, and then he put a move into Grayson there, left burpees 20 seconds ahead, put some time into him on the run, was 25 seconds ahead into the row, 23 seconds out of the row. And then by farmer's carry was maintain that 20-second lead and then put time into Grayson on that lunge. He was now 50 seconds up going into wall balls, which is basically where he finished. Now, I said that was the first story because the second story is one of the good guys of hybrid, Grayson Kilgore, with a monstrous PR. 55:33. I think I actually saw today that this was about a minute faster than even Roxop thought that he would do in terms of what he was capable of. So you know what, John Holman, good friend of the show. I'm going to use a Dylan Scott phrase. And why don't you go shove that up your spreadsheet? Because Grayson just said, not today. Not today. I'm not a Grayson said, Grayson would never cuss because he's a nice guy, but he said, fuck 57, fuck 56. I'm going straight to 55. His PR prior to this was 58:12 in Vegas. And then he ran Boston, ran a 59:47. I've always thought that Grayson, it was a matter of when, not if, but I would be hand up. Grayson, you know that I'm a big fan of you. I was shocked to see him just skip 57s, 56s and go straight to 55:33. Couldn't be happier for the guy. Like I said, he's a great guy all around, great ambassador for hybrid fitness, and he's doing really good things out in Boise. But man, 55:33 is a smoking time.
Well, he did it the hard way too, because he got pulled away from on probably one of the most
no man's land for sure
stations to get pulled away on, the burpee broad jumps.
Yep.
And he did well. He's 237 on there, which is the fourth best burpee broad jump of the day, but he lost 19 seconds on just the act of burpee broad jumping. And that is usually the straw that breaks the camel's back. You get pulled away from on burpee broad jumps, and it takes a difficult task and it makes it crack you. Suddenly you're just not doing well anymore. And he came back and he was only 2 seconds slower. He was 352 on the row than Cole, which is number 2 time on the day. And then he followed that up with a sub-3 lunge and a sub-4 wall ball. So he didn't even really crack after getting gapped on a super hard event to get gapped on. He just kept being strong, and that's not easy to do in that section of the race.
Yeah, average pace 3:36. Having raced myself this weekend, runs 2 through 7 were long. So that 3, he was kind of sitting in those mid 3:30s to 3:40 mid. His toughest run was run 5 after the burpees, which he dropped back to 3:48, but you're dropping back to 3:48, you're fine. And then he gets right back on it. Run 6, he's running 3:38. Run 7, he's running 3:42. I mean, guy can run. And then there's really no, you look at all of his station times, to your point, there's no obvious weakness here. I mean, there's no reason to think that he's not going to back this up. And now he's put himself into the conversation of, this is someone who, when it comes to that, that regional race, he's a threat. Yeah. I mean, this isn't, depending on how kind of the cookie crumbles with some of these other people, but even if the cookie doesn't crumble and he does have to race them, I mean, this is an impressive 55:33. So shout out to Grayson. That's an awesome time. And like I said, just a great human all the way around. Really happy for him. Then from there, the other big PR here was Jack Driscoll with a 56:23. Just a great weekend for Jack. Third place in the men's and third pro solo and then pro doubles. His previous PR was Atlanta, where he ran a 58:28. And again, Jack, very impressive here. Average run time 3:40. Did really well. And then if you look at his stations, really, really strong in that back half. He closed exceptionally well.
He's back.
Oh, meeting canceled, huh?
Shatter.
Oh,
No,
you're muted.
Quick check in with the.
Oh, you're back. All right. Well, we had just gotten done talking about Grayson and Cole and how impressive those performances were, and how a man like Cole should not be able to run like he does. And there's no obvious weaknesses in Grayson's game, running a 336 and being able to station very evenly across the board. Your thoughts, Raw Dog?
Well, if I'm not still muted, my
not.
thoughts are okay. My thoughts are and out of work mode again. My thoughts are, yeah. I mean, Cole's proven that he can do it, and he's even though you say big body, he's got the body for it. He's self-proclaimed not a big calf guy. He's got some scrawny legs, so that helps with the overall weight he's got to carry. And he's just all of his max lifts are very strong, so he has no issue there. So really, as long as he just keeps continuing his aerobic capacity and what he can do running, like that's where he can see the biggest benefit. I don't think he can get much faster on his last two stations. So it's like he knows what he needs to do to race well. And he's a big proponent of going out conservatively and finishing those last stations really fast. So he's one of those guys where if he can do it by himself, but if he's with you towards the end of the race, I don't know how you can beat him, honestly. And then Grayson, Grayson just has, he's been there forever. He's been running fast in North America for a while. He does some other things with DECA and all that, but
I say
really,
DECA, BK, you say fit.
He hasn't done a lot of Hyrox races, and so he's just kind of really, I think, understanding how he can race as well. And just as we get more races under our belt, you're only going to improve from that standpoint. I think they're just both kind of in their groove right now.
Yeah, no doubt. So we were, right before you jump back in, we were talking about Jack Driscoll. Jack 40 fit, baby. 340 run time. His running is getting really strong. You look at his race. I mean, he very easily probably could have been under 56 too. He had a 331 pole, which is certainly not bad, but a strength athlete like Jack, you would think that he might be able to get that down closer to 3. Who knows? But I mean, it's hard to finish a race better than Jack. I mean, we were kind of watching the stream. Now, granted, it was Raw Dog stream, so it was obviously focused on the Raw Dog. But you kind of got the sense that those last two stations, it was a 2-horse race between Colin and Dawson. And listen to this close, BK. 245 lunges, 331 wall balls. And his run 7 was 349. And then he actually didn't give that. Most people were giving up about 15, 20, 25 seconds on run 8. Jack was 349 run 7. He was only 403 on that run 8.
He ran by me on run 7 or run 8, the last run, like I was standing still. He was sprinting. Like what he put, I think that was like 15 seconds he had on me on the last run alone.
Yeah.
And
so
I ran the exact same pace.
Yeah. So Rocks out of lunges.
I was not slowing down.
Stefer and Kent ran. We'll talk about Kent in a second and why it worked out this way. But Stefer and Kent basically left lunges together with Dawson. It was a 3-horse. So it was a 3-horse race. It was Stefer, Kent, and Dawson, and then Jack was 6 seconds behind them. Jack came in, to Dawson's point, 4 seconds ahead of Dawson into the wall balls and 5 seconds behind Colin.
And you should have to choose one. You can close down run 8 or you can close down the wall balls, but you shouldn't really be able to kick in and get to work. And he did. And that's coming off of really, really strong lunges as well. So those 3 chained together are kind of scary.
It wasn't just that. Kent made up probably like 10 seconds on me and Stefer on the lunges. And I think Jack made up 20 seconds on us on the lunges. So it's like he put himself in that position then put himself in front of us, and then still wall balled in a 3:30, whatever he did. So he basically finished as fast as I just said. Nobody's going to finish as fast as Cole Learn, and I think Driscoll may have. So, but it was just his last 3 stations. He made up all the time I had put on him and then put 30 seconds on me, which is just insane.
Yeah, so he was second on lunges and third on wall balls. No, reverse. Third on lunges, second on wall balls. Cole was first on lunges, third on wall balls. So, yeah, I mean, that's guys like that, closing like that is impressive. And then we covered the Raw Dogs race before he hopped off. But Dawson, those 12 minutes that you were gone from us, did you think about anything else you wanted to share about your race?
I didn't know if you guys wanted a behind the curtain of the drug testing.
Oh yeah,
just the process.
Oh yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there in a second. But Dawson, I mean, as we come to expect, quick run times and very solid stations. The other kind of storyline here in the background would be Ryan Kent finishing just outside the top 5 in 6th place with the 57.50, but that doesn't really tell the story of what happened. He had a 4:57 wall ball, and he turns out he did about 45 reps unbroken to start, but only had 18 good reps. He was getting no rep for depth. They wouldn't tell him what was going on. I guess their argument is because you can technically see it in the bottom corner of why you're not getting him, but he came in and was wall balling, but he wasn't getting any. He tried a different strategy at the beginning of the race. You could probably figure out what it is if you just go back and look at his run times. But he was right there in it. And for the first time, he didn't have to run from the front to actually be a contender at the end. And Kent is capable of 330, 340 wall balls as well. So you take out some of those no reps, and he finished 57 high, which is his best race in a while. But for a while there, he was on for a 56 mid, and I think he's got some confidence coming out of it. So, he's back to back. He's gonna be in Dallas this weekend. We'll see if he can follow that up. But I think our boy Ryan Kent is starting to figure it out. And BK, you've said this before. He likes to be in the mix. He doesn't like being detached. And if he has now figured out how to race, not having to be up there in that front pack, that could be problematic for people as this season goes on.
Yeah, and he's a momentum athlete. When he feels hot, he gets hot. That's the way it goes. So walk me through his wall ball judge that truly wouldn't tell him what was happening.
So I was right
Dawson was next to him,
wall balling right next to him. Yeah, and I watched the video back probably at like 12:30 a.m. last night, and it looked like when I went to 25 and I broke, and I looked over to his wall ball counter and he was at 10. So I was like, all right, I just assume that his wall ball counter isn't working, which I think Stefer's wall ball counter also wasn't working. I think it got stuck at 3, and the judge was counting for him. So I'm in my brain, I'm like, all right, don't look at his screen, only look at Driscoll's screen to know exactly where I think Kent is relative to where I am. And I get to 25, I break, I look over, still not doing anything. I went back and watched the video. I think Kent broke it, like you said, probably like maybe 35. I don't know if it was 40 or 45. But he turns back and he talks to the judge, and the judge does say for depth, and then he goes back and starts doing them again. He gets like 3 more reps, and then it starts to red again. So he was even getting no reps after he had talked to the judge. But yes, in the video and there, I couldn't hear the judge talking to him. I couldn't see anything. I just thought his counter was literally broken because he was so far behind me and he hadn't broken and I had. So I didn't really know what was going on. And afterwards, when I talked to him, he, I think, was just angry that the judge wasn't more vocal about why he was getting the no reps, because I think he, again, assumed, like I assumed, that his counter was just broken in the moment.
An athlete should not have to request of the judge. I don't care what Hyrox's platform is. their platform needs to be that the athlete should not have to interact with you. You are proactively interacting with them.
Yeah. And I guess in defense of the judge, just as Matt said, if the wall ball counter is functioning properly, it does tell you an indicator on the screen what your wall ball no rep is for, but that's only if you know how to read the screen. So
Yeah,
if you
it's not
don't know how to read,
it's not blatantly
if
obvious.
you don't know how to read the screen, then you don't know that.
Yeah.
But it does say it on the screen. So
yeah,
You need to be like a baseball ump. Nope, low. Nope, high. Inside.
The interesting thing is when I judged the Elite 15 race in Chicago in 2023, the way they had us positioned was off their knee, and basically so we could like talk to them, because I actually was Pelayo's judge. That's how I met Pelayo and whatnot. So that way you could talk to them. In this case, they were all behind them. The Thunderdome is loud. Tommy's going crazy. Coach is pumping tunes. They're purposely getting the crowd worked up into a frenzy, which is great. But you can't hear shit. Like, you can't hear anything. I ran a race on Saturday, which is just a normal mixed doubles race, and the Thunderdome isn't going crazy. Kent was there like watching me and like yelling at me, but he was just on the other side of the stands. I couldn't hear him. I mean, we weren't any further away than probably 10 feet. I can't hear anything he's saying, and that's in a normal environment. So I'm not surprised that looking away, focused on wall balls, like they should have just gotten in front of him. I agree with, the defense would be, it is on the screen. It's not blatantly obvious. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I do think that if you are Kent, he's been looking for something, anything to spark him to get going, and you run a 57.50 and you had the wall balls from hell with this was easily a 56 race, and that's all a guy like him needs to springboard him forward.
Yeah, that's crazy. He was over 20 no reps.
Oh, yeah. Easy. So when I remember when I think I broke at 45 again, and I think he had like just gotten to 2022. So it was like, I'm at 45 and he's at 22, and that's my second time breaking, and I think he had only broken once. So however many wall balls,
he estimated that he did at least 150 wall balls. Because he didn't take long breaks. He did not take long breaks at all, BK. That's the other thing that's crazy. Look at his time, and it was 4:57. There was not 30 seconds of wall ball breaks in there. So, I mean, he's cranking.
That's got to be confidence boosting too. He can close out with 150 wall balls without crumbling.
Yeah. So, all right. The other big news out of both of these races, Dublin and Chicago, which Dawson already alluded to, was that anybody who had a pro card got drug tested this weekend. This weekend, Christian was there in Chicago. So was Matt Locke. They did come over and make the trek, and they tested our athletes. For those of you that have not been paying attention, now, if you want to, after the rule change mid-year, shout out Hyrox, if you want to get into any of the elite races the rest of the year, you have to have a pro card. So what we thought that maybe they would just test the top 3, maybe top 4. I believe everybody who had a pro card in race this weekend got tested in both races. Correct, Dawson?
For some reason, Kent didn't get tested the first race, but he did
tell me that was a
mistake.
Race. Yeah, that was a mistake. He was supposed to be tested on Friday.
And then there were people who raced Friday and they were scheduled to race Sunday and then didn't, and they were just like, asking around for him. But basically anybody who was there was tested, and they were even ready for people who were on the list that ended up not racing. So then, you're not notified beforehand. So it's not like a missed drug test. You just didn't race, so you didn't get drug tested.
Well, this right here justifies the pro card immediately. That is the purest reason to have a pro card, is to pay for your drug test. Great. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, awesome. I get it that I guess the one downside to the athletes, actually, Dawson's girlfriend, who is also a good friend of mine, who I will not dox her name on the podcast, joked that that the worst thing that could ever happen to someone like Dawson is having to get drug tested twice after big races, because Dawson is the cool down king. He is often seen at Dropout doing 30 to 45-minute cool down bike rides, and he immediately gets stripped off a stage and taken to a freezing room without his cover-ups and everything else and having to pee. So what was that like, Dawson?
Well, luckily they did have 3 concept tubes in the room.
Good.
So we had to rotate between guys, but we were at least able to cool down a little bit, which was nice.
Did they allow people to pass you things into the room?
So no, they
should allow you to have
little
clothes handed over.
So the thing is Dylan was saying that this was the most strict they were, and I don't know if it was strict on purpose, but they just took us straight from off the finishing stage to go in versus just like corralling us. But if after you cross the finish line, you needed to have a chaperone with you at all times, they would let you go and do whatever you wanted. You just needed to have a chaperone at all times, but they were shooing you to the opposite side of the arena from where the warm-up area was. So it was out of the way to go back and get all of your stuff. So if you planned accordingly, yes, you could have gotten your stuff, but just, all right, I'm getting drug tested, like just following along, not realizing that you're going to be in this room for an hour and a half. And it's like, yeah, I probably should have grabbed some clothes and either some of my like electrolyte mix or something that you need to be able to pee.
So we can solve this for them. They need to do it track national style where they just have bins. You drop your stuff in your bin prior as a pro, you go race, they bring the bin to the finish area, and then you get to bring that with you.
Yeah, and I think from an elite standpoint, that'll probably be easier, but from just a pro, like just a normal weekend Hyrox racing, it's a little more difficult. Or they go to bag.
You
check
should
and
message. You should
be able
message
to
Matlock.
get you your bag. Yeah,
you should say feedback from Chicago.
Yeah, that was probably the only like downside to it. And even knowing that on Sunday, I just assumed I wasn't going to get drug tested again, so I did not plan accordingly again, and then had the exact same thing happen. But yeah, so, they just
continue.
Oh, they just escorted you to a room, and then basically, you know, just took a list of all the supplements that you were taking. So you just give them like everything that you took within the last day or week, depending on like what it was. And then because
shout out Manly.
And so I did have to put Manly supplements on there. But yeah, so if you have anything in your test that could be justified with something that you're taking, then it's on the list. So there's no harm in just listing every single thing that you take, because it can only help you, say.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you just go through that entire ordeal, list everything. Everything's linked to like your profile. So hopefully it'll be like smooth sailing after this, from like a paperwork standpoint. But yeah, it's just your standard drug testing process where it's like a third party. The guy who was with us actually like tests the Chicago Bears NFL team all the time. So they just get like local people from the area that are compliant within the regulations. And it's basically just a decompression locker room bro talk area for everybody after the race, which is actually kind of nice because you get to meet all the other guys and just talk to them more. But the process itself is just tedious in the fact that it's like taking you out of your normal routine and you have to be there longer. But the benefits of, you know, just having a clean sport and having at least the pro card and seeing results of us having to get it is a benefit. It's just kind of like it's making an average race feel more serious. And then just almost like Meg and Lauren always talk about like new people coming into the Elite 15 and having to do the press and having to do like all this other stuff and all this stuff outside of racing. It's just another thing you have to do. So it's like now not only do you have to worry about racing and performing, this is just another thing in your weekend that you have to prepare for. So it is, I guess, making it more serious when you do sign the pro card and are subjected to all this testing.
Do they give you any insights into when you're going to get the results, or if you were to?
No, from my knowledge, as long as you just don't hear anything back, you're good. If you hear something back, that means you're in trouble. So yeah, they didn't give us a time frame of how long it would take or anything really. You're essentially just guaranteeing that what you submitted is assigned to your person, and just verifying that they did everything right. And so as long as everything is good, you just shouldn't hear anything back.
So it's the only problem from the athlete side and spectator side with the testing itself, not the process, but the actual test, is that you only hear. I've never heard of a sport that tells you either way. You only hear if it's positive. And so the distrust that it breeds is are they even testing it, or does everyone get tested? And if we do test positive, will they ever cover anyone up? I'm not putting that on a Hyrox. Those are just the thoughts people have. Like, if you don't hear anything, it must not have been tested positive. So
Yeah, because that'd be my question: is you got a bunch of dudes who don't ever hear anything. Did it actually get tested? If a tree falls in the woods and no one is around.
So I'm not putting that past them, right? I'm not saying that they will or won't, but this is the weekend. If no one from here, how many people got tested in Chicago? Any idea?
So I don't know about the women at all, because it was totally separate time frame.
Yeah.
But on Friday, I think there was 8 of us, and on Sunday, I think there was 7 of us. But on Friday, you had Matlock there. You had God, why am I forgetting the founder's name? You had all the heavy hitters there of Hyrox. So I think that was maybe why they were there, because this was the first time they were instituting it in North America, at least. So it was maybe a big deal. But yeah, I mean, you had everybody who's important to the elite field there. So
and people got tested in Dublin too. So this is like the secret's out of the bag now. This was the only weekend for them to catch people with their pants down. From now on, like, you're forewarned. It's not I could get tested. It's you have to assume I will get tested. So it'll be very interesting to see if anything comes out of these 2 venues this weekend.
Yeah, and I think their goal is that if you signed up for the card, they want to test you at your first race for sure. After that, it's who knows, but I think they want to at least get everybody their first opportunity they will get tested. And
they should. But now, you couldn't sample a gym and get 15 athletes and get 100% clean. Most gyms, you couldn't find 1 out of 15. Absolutely. So it'll be very interesting if both Dublin and Chicago come back totally clean or not.
Yeah, I think Matt B. Davis over at Hybrid Fitness Media asked Matlock about it, and I believe Matt said to what Dawson just said, that the plan is to test people at their first race, and then they do plan to test people again throughout the season. But it kind of sounded like it would be random at that point, so that people couldn't prep for it. So make sure that their first race is clean, and then after that, they would be luck of the draw.
Yeah. I mean, my guess is if there's more than 5 people in a race in the first heat that have a pro card, I'm just going to assume that it's going to happen.
It has to.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting if no tests come back.
Well, when I go to Vancouver, that's because I don't know anybody else who's really racing Vancouver. Like, if I get tested out in Vancouver, that's like, all right, well, then they're going to do it every single time. It's not just random, but I can't imagine. Well,
I'm gonna race Vancouver. Let's BK set the over under how many minutes Dawson beats me by.
I'll set it after this weekend.
I feel like 10 is fair, right?
Unless you run.
I mean, you're a 57 guy now. You're a 57 guy now.
You'd be leaving BK in the 70 club.
I gotta leave BK. I gotta leave BK. If I don't improve on Friday, it's gonna be time to reevaluate my life choices.
So closing out the drug testing conversation, what we need to do to test the system must stand up under its own weight. We need to find someone who's unapologetically proud of their drug use, get them a pro card and put them in a race and have them test and see if theirs comes back positive. That's what we need to
Where's
have happen.
Hiller?
We need a control.
Where's Hiller?
See, but even I guess the question after that is yes, they test positive, but then who's informed first?
That's what we need. That's why we need someone to go through this.
Is Hyrox informed? And then is it kind of like, these
Hyrox agencies go to the company who hired them.
Yeah. Okay. So it's
Hyrox will get informed first.
Shadow bans start coming in place. Injuries start happening out of nowhere.
Well, there's nothing there. Hyrox is not beholden to announce it to the public. So they are informed of the results. And then what they do with that is up to them. The agency's only job is to give them the results back.
Yeah, the old Albert Pujols shadow ban. There was a rumor that he tested positive back in, I can't remember what year it was, but he wound up getting like a pretty long injury and was like out for like 50 games. And people speculated that it was because he had been popped.
I heard a crazier rumor that some people thought he didn't ever test positive.
I mean, he definitely was older than what his birth certificate said. That's for sure. So, but that's a whole different topic. All right. We're at the hour 35 mark. Any final thoughts on drug testing? Chicago, Dublin?
I'll do it.
You'll test. You'll juice.
I'll take one for the team. Yeah, I'll glow like crazy.
I think at this point, I think you should.
Why not? Go from 60 to 50.
I think you should do it.
I'm just kidding. There are drugs in this world.
BK, you got a big race this week at BK. How long has it been since you ran a Hyrox?
2 years.
Are those joints ready?
No. I did 2 4-mile tempos on concrete in the last 10 days.
The last race that BK
with
ran.
Jack?
Nope. Oh, yep.
Yeah.
Chicago with Jack?
Chicago 2023 with Jack, 55-40. He also ran in 2023 that 51-17 with Rich Ryan. It's been 2 years. It's going to be
weight. To be clear, that's open weight.
Yeah, we didn't have pro back then, but
we would have gone faster at pro because we over revved. It's too light.
Yeah, and it's now officially, we've crossed over the 5-year mark since BK has run a solo Hyrox. BK,
yeah, my pro career can be legally considered dead.
Will we see you run a Hyrox singles race?
Ask me after Dallas. Dallas is when I'm making all my predictions. We got to see how Dallas goes.
It's the bellwether. What's the goal for this weekend, BK? You're racing with a client, right?
Yeah, Joyce and I believe we can for sure go 62. And I think if our stars align, we can push towards 60. I drag her down. We are in the 35 to 39 category, but she's 41 and a half, I believe.
Nice. Gonna be a big race. And then Dawson, you're not racing again until Vancouver.
Solo pro.
So I'm calling 62 on a normal day, pushing towards 59, 59 if we get after it. What are you going for?
Course looks favorable. Me?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure if I was going to put this out there or not. I would say if I ran anything under 70, I'd be content. If I got 68, I'd be happy. Anything 67 mid or under, I'll be ecstatic. My ultimate goal that I'm trying to get to is I want to get to 65 or sub 65. I'm not sure if I've quite got the wheels for it yet. I am 5'9" after all. So, I'm giving up some
another
time.
Another 5'9" Milwaukeean just ran 65. So
Scotty boy. Actually, BK, remember Scott, who you ran the intervals with, the track workout? Scott just ran a 65:58, big 5-minute PR for the boy.
There you go. So what are you trying to run per K? What do you think you can be in range of?
Well, I ran a doubles. I already run a pro doubles this season where I was able to hold 6:30 mile pace. I don't want to call it like comfortably, but like not too bad. So I think I'm going to try to go 640, 645 pace. So that should put me at what, like Dawson 407?
I'm not great on the conversions, but
I think it should be like
4:00.
407. Yeah, let's see. 645 mile to K pace.
sorry, Matt, I'm not good on the conversions that slow. I need to specify.
Damn, you just had to throw that out there. That's a classic
3-minute
Dawson.
easy to convert.
Oh no, I was wrong. That would be if I was running 640 to 645, it would be 414 or no, 412 on the high end, 408 on the low end. So we're gonna have to move. I am going to try my best to. I actually think I was talking about it with Kent this morning. I think my plan is going to be I'm going to run 1 at about marathon pace. I'm going to probably ski 2K plus 8 to 2K plus 10. Nice and chill. And then probably run maybe a couple seconds.
What are you
faster.
saying there?
What do you mean?
2K time trial plus 8 to 10 seconds per 500?
Yeah, correct. So my
Okay.
2K, my average
clear with
500. Yeah, my average 500 2K time. Probably add 8 to 10 seconds of that. Then probably run right around marathon pace, maybe a little bit faster into push. And then coming out of push, that's where I'll try drop it, run 3 to that 640, 645. And then it's all about hanging on, baby.
This is
And
like stop motion on my end now. Are you?
Yeah, you're frozen, making a funny face like you're skeptical. It looks like you're skeptical of what I'm saying. Like there's no, nope, now you're unfrozen.
Okay.
Matt, a
So that's the plan.
wise man once told me just run threshold pace.
Yeah, I mean that would be the other strategy too, right? Would be I've gotten a lot better at being able to actually maintain threshold pace. So I would just have to be okay with the fact that if I'm going to run threshold pace for 8 runs, I'm probably going to give it back a little bit on the stations.
Who told you that, Dawson?
No, Matt just loves to do calculations of how many meters he thinks the
Yeah, I
course
was trying to
is
figure. Yeah,
and
Dawson's being a jerk,
get
'cause
an
I was trying to
exact time on each lap he needs to run, and I'm
And
like,
Dawson
Matt,
goes,
if you
just run threshold.
it doesn't. You don't have to look at your watch ever. Just run.
Yeah,
threshold.
well, it's because Dawson is Rain Man and knows distances and paces that he's running just based on feel, and I don't have that.
For you.
I don't have that
Did you
capability.
Did you see my run splits from this race?
Oh, I haven't even looked at your split. Should we pull them up? Are they all over the board?
You'll see. I just ran threshold
all
pace.
RP. Oh, wow. That's pretty impressive. 249, 336, 345, 344, 346, 345, 346, 413.
You weren't joking that you didn't change.
Yeah. My middle 6 were
You're right,
all
it
within
was
a second of
trash.
each other. That's ball balls.
Well, yeah.
Well, Matt, I'll see you in Texas.
Yeah, when do you get in, BK?
I don't know. There was some United was unsure what their flight schedules were going to be like, so they sent an email offering free cancellation. So I did. So we're just going to drive down.
Oof.
If I had been going solo, I would have for sure just flown. Like, who cares?
Are you bringing the fam?
No, I didn't want to hang Joyce out to dry in case, because I had a Friday afternoon flight.
Oh, gotcha.
So I don't.
You're right. You're driving down with Joyce.
No, Joyce lives in Texas.
Oh,
that's why we're doing that one. But I didn't want something to come up, so I'm just gonna drive down Thursday morning.
Tough.
So we'll see when we get there. Split it up over 2 days.
Yeah, you're gonna hurt like hell driving back though.
That's fine. That's on the way back.
It's tough. All right, boys, we did it. Later.